And welcome to the round of Give a Knife, Take a Knife, GAKTAK. This is going to be the box that came in. So now initially this came from JT's Knifelife. It's a total of 6 knives. It had the Spyderco Insistent, Civivi Elementum, Boker was Kihan, Browse Blade Spectre, a Case Teardrop, HK Conspiracy, and I'm thinking, I was starting to watch a few of them, but then I kind of stopped watching it, so this is going to be a surprise to me as far as what's in here. But I'm guessing that the case knife is still in here. So I'll see what that one looks like. But let's see what this looks like in here. So Give a Knife, Take a Knife is the process of, basically JT started with those 6 knives, went to JT's Knifelife, geared towards gear, Stasa, Slicey Dicey, Everyday City Carry, Daily Carry Solutions, Jack Farm Boy, Big Red EDC, and then Zach Stuff, and then to me. So those are the people that I went to. So basically I went to them, they took a knife, they put a knife in, took a knife, put one in, so on and so forth, and now it's with me. So I don't know what I'm going to put in it yet. So there's going to be a jump cut somewhere in here, or a few, but we'll see what's in the box. You'll get my opinions on it, you'll get my reactions to the box and to the knives, and we'll see what everything looks like inside here. It's a big box for 6 knives. So we got an ace, and I actually never experienced an ace knife. And man, there's a lot of stuff in here. Wraith. Why is there so much stuff in here? I think that's it. Alright. So I recognize the logos. So this is one of the ones that he was next to me at the booth at Blade Show West. Adrian over at Dan Designs. So that's going to be the Wraith. So this one's coming around. Black hardware there. Pivot, produced by Tuya on this one. So let's see what this is. So I'll probably keep it out of the box. Sorry, this is going to get messy. So, in screen. Okay, so this is the Wraith. I'm going to put it on the box. Sorry about this. It's not very organized, but we'll see how everything comes along. So Wraith, steel wheel. This is the Piercer. Actually, I was looking at this one. I still like this, the Scylla. Again, I'm not too sure if that's how you pronounce it. But the Piercer, the designer was at a SHOT Show, which was pretty interesting. So, well, interesting clip. Good tension, very deep carry. So not bad. Usually lightweight's pretty good. Now this feels a little bit light, and it has a good forward motion for it, but I don't know, it seems like it could use a little bit more weight. And that seems silly to say, oh, you should put more weight on a knife, you should always make it lighter, but yeah, good feeling. So we'll see on that one. So that's the steel wheel. Piercer. So there's another one. I don't know who put all these knives in here, but I'm going to try and just figure which one I'm going to keep out of this lot. So steel on this one is D2. I think this one was M390. Yes, so M390. M390 D2. That goes with that. So those are those. So I'm not really surprised, but I think this is the same one. So this is the case knife, which is the Teardrop. This is the original OG that went around in the group, I think. I could be mistaken. But very pointy tip on that. But we're gonna see on this one, yep, it is the green. So this is the green case. This is a teardrop. So it's a bone scale, and then it's got a little bit of texturing right here and smooth on the ends. So that actually looks like kind of a nice, this is a nice mix of the texture instead of just having to be all smooth. Single blade. Nice walk and talk for it. Has the insignia there, so the case is glued in there. Yeah, so that's that one. That's the case knife. That's the one that's available. I don't know if I'm going to be taking that one yet. I kind of want to take it just so it's like, you've been on this trip, I might as well save you from the road. So this one is a two-sun knife. So it looks like a flame anno pattern on it. The one thing about two-suns, they don't have any names on their stuff. And as much as I thought about boxes and like how to make boxes and what I should pack things in, they have probably the simplest box, and it doesn't really matter so much. People still buy them. So really nice. Everything's in the handle scale. Owie. So I think this one's the one from Knight. I forgot his name. Caleb's one. I forgot the name of his brand, but Caleb, I think, is the one that designed this one. And I think he just successfully funded or pre-ordered one of his knives. But yeah, did a two-sun, so interesting blade shape. Has a kind of a, not really a tanto, but it's like the same idea for a different bevel edge for that. For titanium, flame anno, interesting. Those are those. Zahn knives. I don't think I've heard about them before. It reminds me of another brand though. And now it escapes me, but... I am not taking this one. Nope. Nope, nope. So I don't know who put this one in there, but... no. I don't know. I mean, it's interesting. It looks like you can take everything apart with a coin. Like everything. Maybe I'll flip it and I'll change my mind. Oh. Yep. That's not bad. Centered up nicely. Man. Good front choil too. So that's something, a plus about it. Yeah, so does Stedman. So I was thinking about Stedman when I was thinking about it. I know it's Zod knives. Zahn. So Stedman, they have like a few. They have Stedman, they have another one, they have Knock knives. I think it's all Stedman. But man, yeah, that's a good action for that. And I think it's just with how big the tab is, again, where placement is, it's above the pivot. Really solid. I'm impressed by that. Not impressed by the knife. I guess that's something good about maybe a design. Like if it has like a really positive or really negative thing, that's like a good thing. Maybe. So that's that one there. So that's the Stedman Zod Knives D01 for that one. I'm gonna save that one because really, like just because I haven't had one, that might be the one I'll take. But we'll see. Ooh, maybe not. So this one is something. It doesn't have a name on it either. But this is probably one from the same people that made the slip joint. Slip joint. Oh, I forgot the name of them. Poltergeist Works. Now I say their logo, now I know. So Poltergeist Works. This is one that's a shred carbon fiber made by Real Steel. Real Steel makes some pretty good knives. This one seems a little gritty. Might need some lubrication there, but it looks nice. Feels very nice. I think Poltergeist Works is one of the brands or the designers that I really like a lot. So distinct as far as the pivot and then the hardware, so it's the same thing, which is unique to them. I haven't seen too many other people do that. But the Poltergeist Works knife that I'll have to look up the model number for, and then the Ace knife, which is somewhat interesting because they don't really, I think they cut off their design, so then they bring it out and they don't produce anymore. But this is the first Ace knife that I've handled. This was I've handled Real Steel. I've handled that brand, handled Tucson, handled Case, that one. So this is really the only brand I have not handled in the time that I've been with knives. So that's where it's an Ace Giant Mouse. But if I take it, what am I going to replace it with? I got to think about that too. So I'm not too sure also who put this in, because again, I haven't watched the recent ones, so I don't know where this came from. It's an interesting design. So aluminum, G10, different G10 that I've experienced. It's almost like a felt. Yeah, it's just a really interesting G10. Loop over clip, right hand only. Let's see how it works. Yeah, not bad. Fits in the hand pretty well. Jimping is kind of like your thumb's there, but doesn't really do much for it, because I guess if you're gonna hold it like this and like dig your thumb into that place, but then I mean that kind of seems a little sharp. I don't know. Something feels not too great there. So I think it's the handle or the end of this liner lock. Something there is not feeling the best. But this one's in LMAX, so it's an interesting. I don't have any knives in LMAX, but that's going to be the ones to choose from. I don't exactly know which one it will be that I'm going to pick up and which one I'm going to put in the box. But that is the grouping that I have there, and there's no other space for this one. So that's the Ace knife. Yeah, I'm not sure. So I'm gonna have to kind of play around with it, see what kind of calls to me, see what I pick up, because we're gonna have to sleep on this one, and then we'll come back to it. But going over those things, so we do have this one, which is the one that's Dam Designs. We have the steel wheel piercer, teardrop, Ace, don't know the name, a Tucson, then a Stedman, and then a Real Steel. So good choices. That's the only one that's been here the whole time. So out of all the people I named, that's the only one that's been here. So we shall see. So I was able to sleep on this decision, and then I'm going to kind of walk you through as far as why I chose what I did, because these are all the give a knife, take a knife setup. So there's everything that came in. So starting with probably the one that I discounted probably right off the bat, and that is going to be this one here. So this is the Stedman Zahn ZKCD01. So that's this one here. Fit and finish wise, it just doesn't look good to me. So I mean, even for the back spacer, I mean, it's just sticking up there. All these screws. Granted, I guess if you only have a penny or dime or something, then you can take it apart in the field, just a regular screwdriver. The real plus side of it, I mean, for this size of blade, I mean, the action's fantastic for it, but this one was just not something that I would get for myself, use, carry. So if there's something that you're looking for, well, it's available. So it's about $70 for this one. I think one of the sites was already sold out. So that's where this one is being retired. Moving on to the next person for the Stedman. So that's where I got left with these here. So the next one I was able to take off the table. So nothing against Caleb for his design, but the Knight's Edge one here from Tucson. This is just one that it just didn't really speak to me. I like the way that it's kind of all in one unit. So I mean, the blade doesn't stick out or anything. So it's kind of an interesting concept with that. It has the flame anodization, which I'm okay with. That's not the thing that kind of swayed me from it. But just some of the things with it. Just with the flipper, I was able to slip off it a few times in working with it. So I think that would get kind of just something where I wouldn't want to use it that way. So maybe a little bit jimping there. Granted, that was probably the design to try and stay away from it. I tried to do the same thing with mine. I might have to put jimping on it. But for this one, they're just something even with the action for it. So when it has the detent ramp. So I think a lot of Tucsons have that, but that's where it's like, that's how much it has to get on, has to close before the blade is totally onto, or the pivot is totally onto the blade. So that's quite a bit for me. And then also something with the detent ramp or detent, like it has a little, I don't know if that comes through, but basically with the milling, when the detent ball is going over the blade, it just has every single ridge. You can feel that, and that's just, I don't know, I just didn't like it. So something about that one just didn't work for me for this, but that's another Tucson. Tucson normally does really good work for it, so that's not really taken away from it, just a lot of preferences. So this is where this Tucson was also taken off the table, and that one is the Shinobi. So if you're looking for that blade, then that is something that is available as well. I think I saw it on Amazon for the Shinobi. You can pick that one up. Regular box for the Tucson, standard flare for that. So this one is also being taken off the table, which brings me down to these. So that's where went off of comfort as well for this one. So I thought I was really gonna like one a lot more, and especially since it's something that kind of has a lot of hype behind it. It just seemed like it would be a really good one, and that one was the Ace Giant Mouse Clyde. So this one, just for the feel of it, I like the feel of this G10. It kind of has kind of that felt feeling, and I haven't experienced that before on other G10. It usually has a different feel to that. It has a loop over pocket clip for the regular metal loop over, not loop over, but I forgot what that's called. That pocket clip. So this one right there. So it has the pocket clip for it. Works pretty well. But the thing that got me on this one is going to be this thumb stud. This thumb stud is pretty uncomfortable for at least my use. So when using it, I guess there's two things. So thumb stud itself, so any of the deployments, I can really feel that groove every time that I open it. And so I fidget with knives a lot, so I know as a user you want it to open. You wouldn't really care too much as far as if you feel it, because you want it open, you want to use it, but it just didn't work as far as what I'm looking for. And also when holding it, they're just I don't know, it hurt. Well, it's not it hurt, but I could feel just a bit here, and then even at the edge of this this liner lock. Just not comfortable in holding it. So that's where this one kind of came off the table. So my first experience with this brand as far as the giant mouse, and this is one that it just wasn't something that I liked as much as something else on the table. So that's where this one was also taken out of the mix. So that's where we're kind of going down the line and kind of going through as far as some of my reasoning behind some of it. And again, some of that's going to be preference. So other folks are going to be like, well, that's a silly reason to not like it or whatnot, but it's my silly reason. So that's kind of where it is as far as my preferences and what I like and what I'm looking for. And so that one's going away for the Clyde. So now we're down to these. So for this setup, I was actually looking at a few of these. I had it in pocket for a little bit to try and get an idea as far as which one I would want to keep on. One of them I was keeping on just because it's been around ever since it came out, as far as a give knife, take up knife setup, which is the case knife. So I was kind of like, that's like nobody. It's kind of like the one that was left behind. It's like nobody wanted to pick this one up. So I think that's the only one out of the whole give a knife, take a knife that's still from the start as far as JT's. But that's where I was looking at it. But I was looking at the piercer. So this one, it goes along with the name very well. So in working with this one, in holding it, it definitely has that shape, that handle shape, that if you're going to pierce into a box or anything like that, it locks you in, has a good point as far as where it is, right up at the middle of the handle, has jimping up at the thumb. So this is what it says. I mean, it would be a very good piercer. So maybe not as much as far as how thick the tip is for it. So you might snap that off in piercing, but this is one that it got a little bit better because it was a little gritty when I first got it in. So I did add some lubricant to it just to see if it would clear up, and it did. But just with opening and closing it, with how this is operating, just the little contact that I have opening and closing it wasn't an ideal method for it. And then I was able to spidey flick it out for this one. So it was pretty good. It just the closing in actuating this liner lock, it's just a little bit more uncomfortable, and I was just like, it's probably also something I wouldn't carry very much. So that's where this one came off the table as well. Still a very good job. I think the next one that I want to pick up from Steelwell is going to be the Scylla, which is that front flipper. I just really like that one. It actually works really well, especially for a front flipper. It does a good job. So Steelwell also off the table. So now we're down to these. So for these ones, this Damn Designs, I was he was a booth next to me at Blade Show West last year. Blade Show is now canceled at this time, so anybody watching this in the future, 2020, interesting time. This one was taken out for that. So this is one that I really like. I didn't pick one up, but it's comfortable. This one's from Tucson. Not Tucson, sorry. This one's from Tuya. as far as the manufacturer for it. This one's actually a specialized blade, so this isn't part of the normal stock. This was actually, I believe, developed for a blade show. It was kind of a special finish for it. It works well, and I think I would have used it, but I didn't really have anything in the price point to trade off at this point, or this period in time, and I didn't really want to put in something that was really a low price, because this goes for about $220. It's titanium for this model and M390 for the blade, so I did not want to shortchange it, even though people might not have an issue with it. I didn't have something that I wanted to trade at this price point for this one. But so that's where this one is kind of have to move along to the next person, and somebody might trade out for something else, but I don't have any issue with that. But for me, I just didn't want to trade it out for that, and maybe I'll get one at one point, but this is one that I kind of was along the line, or when this was being developed, so kind of was getting some input, was able to meet Adrian, so that one's going to be also going back out. That doesn't fit in there. So now we're down to two. So two knives. So one thing that was kind of interesting, I don't know if you guys knew about this, but for these here, so price point wise, it's about 60 bucks. At least what I could find. I could find like the two blade one, but not the single blade. About $60 for that one, about $58 for this currently, because it's like this is the White Mountain Knives exclusive one. So this is one that actually is right now about 58 bucks shipped. So 58, 60, so about 60, 60. So even playing field for a price point for these two knives. Something that was kind of interesting too. So if you didn't know, this glows. So the exclusive glows blue, the original one glowed green. So that's kind of the thing. So we're going to turn down lighting a little bit and see if this shows up. So I do have a UV light. So we'll see if this shows up. And I might need to turn down some other lights to make this work. So I might need to turn on the other one. So one moment. So the whole scale glows blue. So it is kind of a novelty because this does not last a long time, and I don't know how much, like in the sun, and then like if it gets nighttime, like would that stay there? I don't think so, because I tried this and it does fade fairly quickly. It's just something that's kind of cool to actually see. So I'm going to turn things back on. So the blue one is the exclusive for White Mountain Knives, and that's what it does, it glows. So that's the one I was looking at for it. So one thing that I was looking at, and then I was even asking my kids, it's like, oh, which one do you think I should take as far as the give a knife, take a knife? I don't know if it's going to be breaking too many rules. JT, let me know. But one thing, I'm gonna switch out both of these because I like it. I like what Poltergeist Works does. So I do like this one. And then two of my kids said they really wanted this one. So I'm probably going to put that into their box so they can have it later down the line. But that's going to be what I'm going to switch out. But what am I going to switch out for? So that's the question, and that might be the reason why. It's like, heck no, you can't take both of them. So one of them I'm going to switch out with is this Bastion. I don't like Tantos. This is one that came out. I like the look of it. There's a Falcon. It's currently discontinued. You can't get these anymore. But it's a fairly decent design, carbon fiber and everything. It is the frame lock, but it does have a partial covering for that, and that's going to be the Tanto blade for it. So I thought it was a very handsome Tanto blade. So this is the one that I'm going to switch out for. That's going to be going off, and then So we'll switch that one out. So this is going to stay for this one. And this one is going to be put away. I probably won't use it very often, but my kids did love it, so I'm sorry, I am taking that one out of the mix. And hopefully, I mean, you'll have a good home, so everybody else that passed it up, I am taking that one out of the mix. And this one, so the real steel, this is called the Citus. I think that's the name for it. So the Citus glows in dark, cool, interesting factor. Little thing goes right through as far as the pivot. So you can go look it right through there. So I thought it was cool because then these are basically the same screws probably. I haven't taken it apart, but so to run the same screws front and back was kind of an interesting setup. It's something that's kind of exclusive to Poltergeist Works. So I thought that was pretty cool. Blade is super, I mean, it's a high flat, so this should cut really well. This is a D2 blade. Would I prefer something else? Yeah, probably, but that's going to be how that is. So I'm going to switch this one out. Reason why I decided to try to switch out both of them is one of them JT was looking for, so hopefully it makes it back to him. If not, I probably should have done something else, but this is one that I was working on selling. You can't get these anymore. This is a CRKT. This one is the GSD and non-serrated. So the GSD non-serrated. So this is going to be one that JT had some interest in. We never really finished anything out. So that's the one I'm going to be switching out for. So these two knives were switched out for the other two knives. And so these two are going to go along into the pass around group. So basically got this one and then also the case. These are coming out. Those are going in. So fun project. I had to sleep on it because when I was initially looking at it, nothing really stood out, and I have to find something to switch out. But hopefully this is something that is acceptable. If not, I will pay for shipping and I will get it set up. But we'll see who it goes to next, and then we'll see how far this goes as well. So if there's a lot of people, this might not even get back to him in the 2020 year. But those are two going back out of everything else. So that's about all I have to say about that one today.